Hey, man, you're shaking it all wrong.
But shaking it's all I know.
Shh. Let me show you how it's done.
Welcome back to another very, very offensive episode of I Am Better Than You in Every Conceivable Way, Ask Me Anything. A show where you pretend to be asking for a friend, and I pretend to give a fuck about your stupid dummy questions. Alright, well let's get into this. First question is from David Ottinger. If you could throw your diarrhea at somebody, who would it be and why? Great question. Well, first of all, it seems like throwing diarrhea is going to be a real problem because it's going to kind of like fall out of your hand and it's going to be going all sideways. You're going to get yourself. Seems like there's a lot of collateral damage involved in that endeavor. Now, it's not that there's not a lot of people out there that are undeserving of having diarrhea flung at them. Obviously, there are. Maybe everybody. Maybe I would just become a diarrhea flinging addict. But here's the real speed bump in this situation is you want a device or some sort of method to which you could deliver said diarrhea to your intended target with accuracy, precision. So maybe what they need to do is invent, and by they I mean the Jews, they need to invent some sort of like super soaker device that I could shove up my ass and fill with diarrhea and then, attain some sort of accuracy. So that's something for the entrepreneurs of the world to get on. I would love to see that. Maybe I'll invest in that myself. That could be a winner. That could be a hit with the kids. Could go viral on the internets, right? Maybe you could come with like a little package of like a little ketchup package of something you eat to guarantee that you're going to get a good liquid diarrhea because you don't want to get the nozzle all clogged up. You don't want to be all set and stoked for a good old diarrhea assault and then you find yourself with nothing but a nice healthy solid poop. And then what are you going to do? You're in there, you're mixing your poop with maybe some piss or some water and you got gloves up to your elbows. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna sort this all out. Great question, David. Keep the great questions coming, guys.
I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I'm a human, and I'm coming. I'm animated. I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight too. I like to eat. I like to have children. I'm here. I got a life force. This is a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like. This is what everybody was like before us. This is what I am.
Scatapult asks, Scatapult, that's a great name actually. It's kind of like a scat catapult. I see what you did there, Scatapult. Maybe that kind of ties into the last question. Maybe that would be a good way of delivering diarrhea. No, because you end up back in the same situation where this liquid diarrhea is going sideways and you can't throw a bucket of water unless you got a bucket, but you can't throw water with your hand. So Scatapult is out. Maybe that's a backup plan. For the close combat, you want a diarrhea gun, and then for the distance, you're going to employ a barrage of scatapults. Really great stuff. Okay, we're answering this question. Scatapult wants to know, how does humanity end? And if you alone could stop it, would you even bother? Of course, he's asking for a friend. It's really is a good question. I don't think that there's not gonna be an abrupt line. I think it'll be like a slow replacement. So we'll just get more cybernetic, and there'll be more and more artificial intelligence and computer programs running in our brain. To some point, the biology of humanity is totally phased out. Maybe I'm optimistic. And the second part of the question is, if you could stop it, would you even bother? And yeah, I probably wouldn't bother. It's probably such an inevitable situation that it's not like imminent destruction from nuclear holocaust or something, which probably wouldn't even kill humanity. But a lot of people we're getting into this big picture thing where if you were king of the world, would you XYZ? And I always find this kind of hilarious because focus on yourself. If you were king of your world, would you still masturbate 3 times a day? I would. But, it's focus on yourself, deal with yourself, make yourself a better person. And I think what a lot of people do is they kind of externalize conflict because they're not willing or not able to deal with the internal conflict in their own life. So great question, asking for a friend. Hope your friend gets something out of that or not. Don't care. Coming in hot, we have Nines. Nines wants to know, where is my knight in shining armor? I am so lonely, I wish I was asking for a friend. This isn't really that hard. Your knight in shining armor is out playing video games, jerking off to porn, and using women and never calling them back. So it's, you get what you deserve. Here's what happened, all right? Women used to depend on men and appreciate them. There was a dynamic that was in place where women appreciated men and men did things for women. And this was like a biological necessity. Like our species needed this to survive. This is not the case anymore with the standard of living and modern feminist politics. It's you get what you deserve. If you say, hey, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. And if that becomes the thing, and I'm not arguing for oppression or anything. I'm just saying that there was a balance that used to work. I'm not saying we should stick to that balance. I'm not like some sort of hardline traditionalist. We should definitely evolve. And this is the growing pains of figuring out a new society and a new way of doing things as you kind of get some pushback. You get some ebb and some flow and different things happen. And this is just a result of that evolution happening. Women, you're not appreciating the men. The men don't have any incentive to do anything for you, which makes you less appreciative of the men. And it's just a race to the bottom. It's just a downward spiral. And unfortunately, you just have to go down to the bottom and ruminate down there before you muster up any sort of will to innovate and to do better. I'm sure at some point we'll reach a balance and stuff. Maybe you could maybe construct one in your basement out of household items you have. Slap a little Hugh Jackman face on it, and that'll be your knight in shining armor. It's tough out there. It's tough out there for both sexes. You're saying, where's my knight in shining armor? And guys are saying, where's my big titty blonde bitch who cooks me sandwiches? Cooks me sandwiches? Sandwiches get cooked, right? I'm not going to lie. I don't know a lot about sandwiches. I like hot sandwiches. Let's just leave it at that. Great question. Keep on not asking for a friend, you lonely, lonely spinster. Today's episode is brought to you by United Airlines. See, here at United Airlines, we came here to sell seats and kick ass, and we're all out of seats. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding United Airlines. They're one of our best sponsors, and I think it's kind of unfounded. The airline owns the plane. This is simple. This is simple property rights, people. It doesn't get much easier than this. The airline owns the plane, and they asked you to get off of it. It's the same as if you ask somebody to get out of your house. You kick them the fuck out. You grab them by the collar, you throw them out in the front porch. And if you don't feel like grabbing them by the collar and throwing them by the front porch, luckily we have a system in place for this. This is what I'm saying here. We have systems in place for these things so that when we encounter these conflicts and these situations that arise, our system in place works for it. And I'm not a total slave to the system. Certainly the system could be improved upon. But you guys, United Airlines did nothing wrong. They said, hey, would you leave? He wouldn't leave. The cops came, they said, hey, would you leave? He didn't leave. The cops pretty much have to. They're legally obligated. They can't just be like, well, he doesn't want to leave. I guess we'll just move on to the next person. What's the next person going to say? The next person's going to be like, hey, I also don't want to leave, if apparently that works. By the time you get to the sixth person, it's like, sir, would you like to? I'm not going to leave. Sir, would you like to? I'm not going to. Sir, I'm not. It's not a good situation. We're trying to have a fucking civilization over here, all right? This isn't that hard to figure out. This is basic, simple, everyday stuff. The plane ticket does not grant you a contract to that seat for an indefinite amount of times. They have boilerplate terms of service on there. They're totally within their right. And this is something that happens hundreds of times a day. People get out of their seats. Fucking, if you go to McDonald's and they don't serve breakfast anymore, are you all falling down? Are you Kirk Douglas falling down all over that place? The cops are gonna come and shoot you. And this ties into the larger conversation about police brutality. So over here, we laugh at social justice warriors, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, when they don't understand that if the police tell you to leave, you should leave. If you're disturbing the peace, you're disturbing the peace. And here's a little tidbit for you guys. Don't go playing in traffic. I guess you need to know this too. Don't go dancing on quicksand. Don't go playing pin the tail on the donkey on the edge of a cliff. Not hard to figure out. Simple stuff. Now, so even if the police are wrong, let's say you're driving down the road and the police stop you and they go, hey, you fit the description of someone that robbed a bank. And they're super friendly about it. And you don't freak out on them. You go, oh, well, I didn't. And they ask you some questions. And that's for some reason insufficient in this bizarre hypothetical. Because we don't want bank robbers driving down the street, we don't want suspects who are guilty on the loose, we go with the police on this. Let's say they gotta take you downtown, it fucks up your whole day. I'm sure your job's gonna understand, your boss is gonna be a little sympathetic to that. Now, if you're on your last fucking straw, the straw that broke the camel's back is the last one with your job, and you call in late one more time, Johnson, you're fucking fired. And you're driving to work, boo fucking who for you. You're a fucking loser. Get the fuck off my streets. You've been ejected. We have a system. We have a meritocracy system. It's not perfect. It's the best we got. If you people have some sort of innovation that you want to give to make the system better, please, by all means. But at this point, you're reactionary. The mainstream media told you to fucking get all uppity and high horse about this because, look, I'll agree with you. Bad optics. It looks bad. But just because something looks bad doesn't mean it's illegal. And someone tries to tell me, then people try to tell me just because something's legal, that doesn't make it right. Fucking spare me. That is the definition of social justice, okay? That's adding extra layers to legal and justice. It doesn't need, this is the best we can do. Get into law, become a judge, become a senator, go write some laws, write your senator a letter. Do all that stuff. This fucking United Airlines did nothing wrong. The cops did nothing wrong. It's simply an existential circumstance that we mostly deal with. Like, you could get on a plane, and if you don't respond to the crew, if the crew asks you if you want peanuts or a soda, and you just go, I like birds, and then they go, all right, sir, well, peanut or soda, I like birds, and then they go away, and they come back, and they go, sir, are you all right? And you go, I like birds, and they go back, talk to the captain, and while they're talking to the captain, you're sitting there looking at the person next to you, I like birds, and, you know, people are looking at you. Every person that meets eye contact with you, you're like, I like birds. They're gonna land that plane. They will land that fucking plane. You do what they say they're gonna do. This isn't this is a high stakes situation. And for that, it's just this, once again, this is an existential reality. This is a high stakes situation, and we're in there trying to do the best we can. We've had 9/11. It's a fucking magic chair flying through the sky. Be fucking grateful. You're a fucking Neanderthal. If you were left alone on a desert island without a cell phone, it would take you infinite amount of time to make a cell phone. Be grateful. Like, for all practical purposes, the distance from where you're at to the moon and infinity are the same number. They're both blatant impossibility. Now, if you find yourself on the moon being all uppity like you fucking did it, get yourself to fucking together. If you're on your way to a moon flight, you are lucky as a motherfucker. And if you get all fucking, I'm not giving up my seat. Dude, this guy totally should have given up his seat. That's just the way it goes. They ask you to get off the plane, you get off the fucking plane. Don't try to make me seem like I'm a fascist or a bootlicker. I'm a recognizer of reality. Just hard, stone, cold reality. This is what we have. This is the best we can do. Yes, let's try to improve upon it, but having a little Coney 2012, little fucking 2-day tantrum, shitting on United Airlines, and this is what it comes down to. I just don't like people shitting on stuff. Like, the mainstream media tells you to shit on United Airlines, then you go and shit all over United Airlines. Now look, you might say, I'm shitting on the mainstream media. I get it, they do. They tell you what you want to hear and deliver eyes to advertisers. I'm not shading them, but you gotta call it like you see it. So now if you're saying you're calling it like you see it, they shouldn't be overbooking, they should be overbooking. There's a million reasons for that. And if you have an airline that's overbooking too much, you're free to go to another airline. This is augmented justice. This is justice plus social media. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what ideology you are. If you're sitting around getting all outraged about something like this, it's a waste of time. Be positive. Go find something you like. You're in a free, wonderful society. And just because we've given you the tools to give us every waking thought you have, every stupid, dummy little idea that runs through your head, just because that happens to you, it doesn't mean you gotta like create a wave and jump on a wave. Recognize when there's a wave of stupid. TMZ told you to get fucking mad about the optics of this. Let me break it down for you. There wasn't even police brutality. The guy was holding on to his chair too tight. They ripped him out of the chair. He started it. He started the fight. Not leaving. Trespassing. Resisting police officers. The police didn't just pop in there. They stopped and they talked to him. And they said, We don't want to pull you off. It's the last thing we want to do. It's just, you can talk to us, but you got to talk to us off the flight. You're being taken off this flight. They probably explained to him property rights. They probably got into the Magna Carta, got into existential realism about the metaphysics of private property and human ownership. The non-aggression principle was probably touched upon a little bit, in shorthand, not explicitly, but the reality of the situation was explained to this guy. He chose to hold on when police are pulling him. So the police are pulling him, his little grip comes loose, and he's flying across the aisle and he hits his face. And then they drag him off. That's not police brutality. That's existential risk. That's the risk you take when people are trying to drag you off. I don't care if it's the police or just two guys in suits. If they're trying to drag me off a plane, I'm probably not going to resist. I'm going to recognize when I'm going to have a futile situation, and I'm not going to resist at that moment. You do what you can, but you don't kill yourself. I mean, if you're holding some super secret information for Jason Bourne, okay, maybe you should do a backflip into the next seat and start kung fuing everybody in the fucking neck. I don't know. Look, you fight the cops, you get hurt. Plain and simple. You play in traffic, you get hit by a car. This whole fucking outrage culture is not specific to social justice warriors or Black Lives Matter. Police are fucking heroes. You might as well go up to Captain America and fucking just shit all over his fucking face with all this negative bullshit. And look, I prescribe to, be strong and don't really listen to all the haters, but that becomes hard when you have the whole world hating on you. Here's the sum total of this. United Airlines stock goes down for 2 days, 3 days, a week, who cares? It goes back up and a bunch of people make a bunch of money. A lot of people are making money shorting this stuff. It's great. So United Airlines, go buy stock in United Airlines, fly United Airlines. There'll be a lot of extra seats open now. Everybody do what you want. No big deal. Who am I? I'm saying don't toss shade. Think before you toss shade, all right? And now, am I tossing shade at you for tossing shade? No, I'm urging you. I'm curious. I'm like a child wondering, is it possible that you could see something you don't like and go, yeah, don't like that. Like, I like chicken and not lamb. Why am I not out there railing against lamb? Because I'm not a fucking idiot. That's stupid. Enjoy your lamb. Nobody cares. You're a guy, you like to suck dick? Nobody cares. You think you're a girl? You think we can all not tell that you got an Adam's apple and a fucking wig on? Nobody cares. It pings on our radar as inconsistent with reality for 1 second, and then we go on with our life. Nobody cares that you are fucking mad at United Airlines. It's like this fun thing we like to do, fun thing you like to do. We all do it. I do it. You do it. I'm not tossing shade. It's a thing that happens. So United Airlines, go buy stock in them, fly on them. This has all been a commercial for United Airlines somehow. They're a great sponsor. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate United Airlines. And I can't say enough bad things about outrage culture. It's feels over reels. And you might see that becoming a theme on this channel. There's a culture war, and it's feels over reels. You can call me Ben Shapiro wannabe all you want. I don't care. It's gotta go. Outrage culture. It's not healthy. It's not ideal. Feels versus reels. Reels over feels. It's not one or the other. Gotta strike a balance. Gotta think and feel. Balance. It's all about balance here at United Airlines. Oh man, it's all about motherfucking balance up in this motherfucker. Ba-da-da-ba. All right. Dr. Gonzo Esquire wants to know, when masturbating, do you just white knuckle your way through it to quickly get the shame of it out of the way that follows? Or do you get fancy with it, like light a candle or apply some sort of lotion perhaps? Asking for a friend. All right, Dr. Gonzo Esquire, it's a great question. I'm really happy to enlighten you about the details, the ins and outs of my masturbation schedule, my habits, my rituals. The ideal situation is that you want to white knuckle it. You get fancy, lighting the candles. I think I have to assume you're talking about edging and just drawing it out, not because, guys don't like candles. Am I getting sexist? Am I getting too sexist? Yeah, guys don't like candles. So, all these things, masturbation, eating, sleeping, showers, it's a short-term solution for a long-term problem. If I could just take a pill or not do those things, it's not even like I got better things to do. It's just after a while, it kind of becomes an annoyance. If I could take a pill and just feel full and nourished, I'd probably do that. So yeah, I just get in there. You pick out the one, you decide who's going to get your special little present. You get it done as quick as possible. Clean up. I mean, if you're anything like me, you got like a little bit of a ritual where pretty much where the mess is going to go. I get it on my hand, wash it down the sink. That's my thing. That's how I do it. I get in, I get out. So now look, sometimes you got to find a special clip. You got to find the right thing to give your little special present to. That can take a little longer, and that's where the edging comes in. You might just sit there and just browse and kind of half do it for hours and hours and hours. A tenderness, a romance sort of arises out of that, where you're getting close and you're taking it away, you're getting close and you're taking it away. I try to avoid that if possible. That's a special occasion. That's 1 out of 10. So great question. Good to see that there's a lot of enthusiasm out there about my sexual comings and goings, if you will. That's one of the best questions. So far, one of the best questions ever.
I'm gay.
I'm a lesbian.
I am actually pansexual.
I am transgender.
I'm a trigender pyrofox.
All right, we got another friendly little question from our friend Cannabis. Cannabis wants to know, unicorn burger or fairy burrito? Just on the face of it, I'm going to say I have no idea what you're talking about. That being said, take this with a grain of salt. We're going to speculate and dig into this. Unicorn burger has to be when you have a unicorn in the middle and then 2 buns on the side. Now, here's the thing. A unicorn is a woman that is being pulled into a sexual relationship, a sexual trifecta with a man and a woman. So you have a straight heterosexual, the way God intended it, relationship. They pull in another woman. That woman's a unicorn because kind of unlikely. I could go on all day about threesomes. So that's a unicorn burger. Would I rather have that? So that's me and a lady find another special lady, or a fairy burrito. Now I have to assume a fairy burrito is right out the gate. Fairy, that's a homosexual man. Fairy burrito, a burrito. Now that's either like, is that a gay man pooping on you, or is that like a gay man who has a very, very thick burrito-like cock? So that's a valid question. Are you down with polyamorous, mind my pronouns, polyamorous sex, or are you down with homosexual thick cocks? I like to do unicorn burger, but unfortunately there's something very, very hilarious about thick homosexual cocks. Especially if you have like a really twinky little young looking guy and he's just got this just this fairy burrito. It's not sexually attractive, it's ontologically attractive, if that makes any sense. Great questions, Cannabis. I could take these questions all day long, and I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my black little heart. Johnny T wants to know, in a purge type scenario, who would be on your kill list? Not asking for a friend. Okay, Johnny T's asking for himself. He wants to know, who do I want to kill in the purge type scenario? That's very easy. We're going to fall back to the non-aggression principle on this. The people I want to kill on my list are people who seem to be wanting to infringe upon my rights of personal property. So if all things are equal, in a purge type scenario, I'm locked inside my house. I want to kill the people who are trying to get into my house. In a purge type scenario, this is undoubtedly going to happen. If the purge movies have taught us anything, that if you're in your house, in the purge, all locked up, some shit's going to go down. People are going to be knocking at your motherfucking door trying to get up in your shit. Those people are fucking dead, all right? Do not try to come into my fucking house. If I hear somebody banging at my fucking door, oh my God, I'm not even grabbing a gun because I don't want to wake my neighbors. I'm getting a knife. You know what they say? Guns for show, knives for a pro. I am standing right by the door with the knife, just fucking wishing. Just wishing. Now listen, you want to make sure it's not the cops. If you hear a pounding at your door, and it is in fact the cops, put your hands on your head, lay down on the floor. If you got a dog or a cat or whatever, throw them in a cupboard. Literally throw them in a cupboard. Lock them in something. But in a purge scenario, even if it's the fucking cops, you're clear to go. As a matter of fact, if it's the cops, you have thought ahead and you have like explosives or like a moat that opens up. I think, was it Ozzy Osbourne's son once was talking about paparazzi and people harassing him, and he said he wishes he had a hose that sprayed gasoline on people and lit them on fire who would go and ring their doorbell and stuff, because he could watch it from the video monitors. In a purge scenario, it's exactly how that shit would go down. That's my kill list. Thanks for fucking asking. Not for a friend. Fucking Johnny T. What's the T stand for? Johnny? Is it Tenenbaum? Johnny Tenenbaum. Is it Thomas Taylor? I think we can crowbar a transsexual joke in here. Johnny Transsexual. Good stuff. Good stuff. Repeat. Johnny Transsexual is a repeat question asker. Good stuff. Good stuff.
But join together and we can become one massive almighty faggot.
Today's disaster piece of an episode is also brought to you by Cheetos. Flaming hot. Get them up your ass. Crumble them up and stick them up your ass, you big... Stick them up your animal ass, you fucking monster. God damn it. Cheetos!
Subscribe to the Illuminati, you cheeky scrub.
All right. Well, that does it for today's show. Thanks for listening. If you like this content and you want to hear more, just go ahead and find that subscribe button on someone else's page and subscribe to them, because it's kind of the opposite of what we're going for here. I appreciate that of the 13 people that are going to listen to this, 3 of them are going to have some negative shit to say. I don't want to multiply that. I'm not trying to get... There's no situation where this doesn't result in hundreds of people being mad at me. So don't share, don't like, don't subscribe, don't do any of that stuff. This is not a bit. I'm not joking. Keep this shit to your fucking self. If for some dumb reason you're listening to this on a regular basis, reevaluate your life. Find something better to do, something better to watch. Maybe get a documentary. Let's get educational up in this motherfucker. I'm urging you to go and get fucking educational. Find out about what actually is. It's super easy to find out how you feel about something. Go out and find out what actually is. All right? There's what actually is and how you feel about it. Find out what actually is so you can actually know how you feel about it.
There's the last one.
Oh my God.
Yourself.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, I don't want to get in the car.
Okay.
You gonna make me get in the car?
Yep.
All right, I'll get in the goddamn car.
It's gonna come you and kill everyone. It's gonna come you.